Barnacle said, with 10 people on the stage, it's going to be hard for people to kind of get the message out. Then they showed what 10 people are going to be on that stage. What 10 people are going to have the opportunity to debate. And notably, one of those people missing from the stage was Tulsi Gabbard. That's pretty much a shame, too, because Tulsi Gabbard is a lot more interesting a candidate than so many of the others that are still on that stage. Not very interested in Cory Booker or Pete Buttigieg or Beto O'Rourke or Amy Klobuchar. But they're on that stage. So, sweeping through the world of progressivism, the world of, Democrat, liberals, people on the left, well, what you can call it. There's been a lot of conversation about Tulsi Gabbard. After coming back from serving in the National Guard, she comes back. Polls come out. Well, not the poll. I don't even know what polls they're using, but evidently she won't be making the third debates. And people are very much furious. Here goes Tulsi Gabbard having a conversation about it. Check it out.
The DNC is refusing to recognize as valid polls that would qualify you for the next debate.
Here's a situation. There's a whole bunch of different polls that have come out. The DNC has only recognized some of them as being qualifying polls for the debate. The whole thing gets a little bit confusing, and you've got to jump way down into the weeds of the numbers and the statistics. But I think the bigger problem is that the whole process really lacks transparency.
Right.
People deserve having that transparency because ultimately it's the people who will decide who our Democratic nominee will be and ultimately who our next president, commander-in-chief will be. And when you see that lack of transparency, it creates, a lack of faith and trust in the process. And I think this also points to a bigger issue and challenge that goes beyond the DNC and party politics is the government itself.
Right.
There's people who are increasingly losing that faith and trust in the government because they see a lack of transparency there. They see that we don't have a government that is of, by, and for the people. And really what they see is a small group of really powerful political elites, the establishment, making decisions that serve their interests and maintaining that power, while the rest of us are left outside. The American people are left behind. So these are the deeper-seated issues that I think it's important that we recognize, and that for me as president that I would seek to change, that we'd actually fulfill that vision that our founders had for our country of having a government that is truly of, by, and for the people, and making it so that people can trust that our leaders are listening to them and making decisions not based on partisanship, but based on serving their interests.
All right. So there you have it, folks. Tulsi Gabbard talking about how she feels about the DNC and the polling debacle about her be able to qualify to be in the debates. And she's making a point there that the transparency, the lack of transparency, I should say, of the DNC is what grows this contentious this belief that there's less than fair treatment going on, and that could all be rectified just by having open communication, letting people know the rules, letting them explaining the rules, so at least people know what the qualifications are. Now there's an article by Jake Mercer written on Medium. He put out today. It's entitled "New Hampshire Pollster: Our Polling Schedule is Determined by CNN." And in that article, Jake quotes a pollster explaining how the process of what polls get included and what polls don't get included, what that really comes down to. It says the UNH Survey Center is funded by grants and contracts. We have contracted with CNN during this primary cycle, as we have since 2000. Our polling schedule is determined by CNN and their polling budget. So it's not about the quality of the poll. It's not about the veracity of the poll. It's not about even who conducted the poll. It's about who CNN personally hired and paid as a pollster. Now, that was a director, Andrew E. Smith, who responded to the inquiry about the polling at the University of New Hampshire Survey Center. According to this article, Mr. Smith, a couple days earlier told the Tulsi Gabbard supporter that they'd be happy, more than happy, to conduct a poll if someone was willing to pay $50,000 to run it. And that's a cost that usually CNN would cover for the poll. So if you got CNN paying for polls of the DNC, what is that? Yeah, I mean, how does that look? Now, I know the lay people who don't know much about our elections and weren't here for last cycle, maybe you're cool with that. But as someone who very intimately knows about CNN, the situation with them in 2016, about how certain things were done beyond the pale, such as questions being passed to the Hillary Clinton campaign. Questions for a town hall. Remember Donna Brazile came on my channel and admitted to it. She did not deny it. A lot of people wanted me to treat her meaner, but she said exactly what we wanted to hear, which was the truth. Yeah, well, I gave those questions. What was I supposed to say? Well, But the point is, after that type of activity that makes people pissed off, and you say, okay, we're going to clean up the DNC, we don't want any problems, why are you, CNN, and DNC working together on putting together polls? Why not just hire another company? Why has it got to be CNN, dog? You got a history and a reputation. Look, man, hey, if something happened between your lady and this guy down the street that you didn't think was proper, you everywhere within your rights to say, hey, the next time you get a flat, call me. That's all I'm saying. Call me. Don't. I'm not saying you did nothing. Well, I am saying you. I'm saying next time, baby, call me. That's all I'm saying. Keep drama down. But see, the DNC is so brazen. They don't care what you think. She's like, I call who I feel like calling. He there, his number. Your name start with an L. His name start with a B. Got his name first. Got a problem with it? That's you. Being self-conscious because I'm your lady and I happen to keep calling up the guy I used to be with after I started being with you. So, that's the DNC. No respect. We just do what we want to do because we own the party. We own the party. La-di-da-di. 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 But I want to go to another point. So, yeah, we're all pissed off about it. Before we do that, let's look at what's happening with Tulsi Gabbard because there are some people out there that are like, well, Tim, she just didn't make the polls, man. People just they're not really into her. Come on, man. Especially those Kamala Harris supporters. They're like, man, come on, man. She wasn't cute. You wouldn't care. She's not polling high, man. You just think because she's cute. Well, she's not cute. She's a grown-ass woman. Cute is something kids are. She's attractive. But she's also smart, brave, courageous, a public servant, a sitting congressperson, and a lot more interesting than Kamala. But, let's go to the tape, Johnson.
The DNC is refusing to recognize as
because it ain't about your feelings, it's about your numbers. The New Hampshire Democratic presidential primary, Real Clear Politics polls. Here goes an aggregate of the polls of New Hampshire. And this is what I'm showing you, dog. If you so would be interested in facts. Tulsi Gabbard here is right between Gillibrand and Steyer. This is a cumulative of the polls. 3.3%. All New Hampshire Democratic presidential primary poll data. That's right. RCP average. We got Biden with 21, Sanders with 19.3, Warren with 14.7, Harris with a 9.0, Buttigieg with 7, Gabbard with a 3.3. Gillibrand's way down there with the 1.0. She did make a 1.0, Johnson. Booker 0.7. No one's calling for Booker to get out. Castro, in fact, he's made enough to get in the next debate. How they do that? Look at O'Rourke down here 1.3 and Klobuchar 2.0. Andrew Yang with a 2.0. He made it. Look at Steyer. This guy paid $12 million to not even make it. I don't feel bad for him at all. Always trying to buy something. Rich dummy. So it's pretty evident there that there are people who have beef about Tulsi Gabbard not being in the debates. They may have a little something more to it than just how they feel aesthetically about Tulsi Gabbard. So I guess you can take that off the board because there's actual evidence, as in numbers, that kind of demonstrate that she was polling pretty well. And that's with 2 weeks off, right? 2 weeks off of, serving their country that they didn't even want to talk about. I think if they would have talked about, I think anywhere, there's enough Democrats, because there's this fallacy that Democrats don't respect veterans. That's not true. All right? As the son of a veteran, I'm telling you it's not true. Though I am an independent at this point, I'll be Democrat probably when I vote. Got to do that. In Maryland, you have to register and unregister. Or you can't vote. It's kind of how the system's rigged. But the point is this. Democrats do respect our veterans, and if the media would have highlighted the fact that Tulsi Gabbard was off the campaign trail for a good reason, like serving her country, I think she would have very easily in every poll, she would have got the numbers that she needed. But once again, it's about the polls they chose to use. The polls they chose to use. So I've been seeing a lot of people very upset about it. I put out a couple of tweets. I try to tell people, hey, I understand you're upset about it. I get that totally, right? I understand it's an emotional time for people. They're upset. They're pissed off. They feel betrayed once again. They're looking at the DNC do whatever they want to do. There was a clip where they were asking Bernie Sanders, I forget exactly how they asked him, but there was an opportunity for Bernie Sanders where he could have been like, hey, I love Tulsi Gabbard. Now, it wasn't that the person asked him, hey, what do you think about Tulsi Gabbard? He was like, ugh, God. Watch it. Hold on. Listen here, Greg. Someone give me some prune juice. He wasn't like that. He did not voluntarily say, hey, Tulsi Gabbard's great. Instead, he said something nice about Amy Klobuchar and I think Elizabeth Warren or something like that. And that's horrible. I don't like it. I don't like that he did it. I wish he just said, I like myself. I like everybody. So good. I don't have any personal feelings about anybody beyond their friends. They're good people, whatever. He still get in trouble with some people. Don't say these people are people. Don't say anything nice about anybody ever, Bernie. But I agree. It would have been nice if he would have said something complimentary about Tulsi Gabbard. But some people will take it too far, as if Bernie Sanders, who controls nothing in the Democratic Party, is supposed to be like, yo, what's up with my girl Tulsi, man? What's up with her? I don't feel real comfortable right now, Bernie. You're getting very loud and upset. Well, I want to know what's going on with Tulsi. They expect Bernie to, tear up the place because of Tulsi Gabbard. As if he has any control over what the DNC did. If Bernie Sanders had any control over what the DNC did, they would have to stop stabbing him in the back. Don't you think? Well, she stepped down from the vice chair position. I don't think Bernie asked her to do that. Everyone does what they think they should do, which is what they ethically feel like they should do or what they want to do, and sometimes what makes sense for them politically. Let's not leave that part out. A lot of people leaving out that we're talking about politicians. And politicians aren't going to always do what we think we would do, though we're not politicians. And look, some people talking, really, please, dog, please. You're doing things right now that benefit you. And you ain't doing it for grandiose reasons. You're doing it because you got an eye on a career or something, money or something you're trying to get. I've seen some of you. But here goes my bigger point, because all that can be argued and debated and people get pissed off. Here goes a point to that. In this clip where Tulsi Gabbard's talking to Tucker Carlson, who I'm going to get to in a minute because too many people, once again, are Tucker, Mother Tucker. Too much of that going on. I noticed something about this interview with Tucker Carlson and Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know if you noticed it or not. I noticed it. Tulsi Gabbard didn't call out the DNC too hard herself. She was like, well, it should be more transparent. She wasn't like, they robbing me, Tucker. These fucks they fixed it. They rigged it. I didn't hear her use the R word at all. She's like, it needs to be more transparent. We need to have more open dialogue. She was being very diplomatic. So let me get this right. I got to listen to people crowd my timeline, complaining that Bernie didn't go to the house, get the gun, come back, shoot up the place, drag out the bodies, bury them in the backyard, dig a hole, bury them in the backyard, cover up the hole, get in the car, drive. I gotta listen to this. But Tulsi Gabbard also isn't running out to get the shotgun. Tulsi Gabbard's like, yeah, Tucker Carlson, it's like, they're just so, no transparency. There's no, and people are it's fomenting division within the party because people don't understand what's going on. And I know very much the price of war. And I've seen this so many times. No words mentioned. No, look, guys, if we're going to talk, let's keep it 100. Let's be totally honest. No words mentioned of a rigged Democratic Party, a rigged DNC against her because she talks about regime change wars and who that threatens the pocketbook. So, hey, don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house. Don't throw them. I know you mad. I gave you 24, 48 hours. I know you mad, you upset, you fuming. But stop blaming the wrong people. Blame the DNC. Blame Tom Perez. And stop holding Bernie to some standard of why he has to conduct himself about this. You already know it's rigged. He called it rigged back in 2016. Did he say it got unrigged? I don't think he did. But it's the only game to play for him. I know we want him to go independent and all this other stuff. I know. Corrupt ass system. We got a corrupt system. We don't need to turn on one another. But if we want to keep it 100, we can keep it 100. I like getting views on YouTube too. But give me a break, all right? Tulsi Gabbard is not done. It's not over. I believe she's, obviously I don't want her to end her campaign, and she's not ending her campaign. She's going to keep going. She's going to keep doing what she's doing. So let's shift into what's next. Let's shift to what's next, and how can we make it undeniable? That's where we got to be. Tulsi Gabbard got burned. Let's not forget who got burned last time and understand we know all too well what getting burned is, what it means, and we don't support it. Kamala Harris, people, get your brains examined, okay? Seriously, check in. Just get a CT scan. Listen. Tulsi Gabbard called out Kamala Harris. That's what happens. For you to applaud her being rigged out of the debates, that just goes to show that you're horrible people. And that your focus is not having a robust conversation, a real debate, right? I also believe that Kamala Harris never answered the questions that were posed at her. I think her playing elitism, hey, I don't need to answer, I'm a top-tier candidate, came back to haunt her ass. Because, see, most Americans don't like that type of arrogance. We like our people to be humble, even when they don't need to be humble. We like them to be humble because it's something that reminds us that we aren't so bad, that we don't suck so much when our famous people are humble. And for her to be like, well, I don't need to answer her. I don't need to answer her damn questions. I'm polling her. I'm a top-tier candidate. Who is she? She's in the bottom rung. She's a French candidate. Who cares about what she thinks? Well, now you a French candidate pretty much. I mean, you polling down there with Buttigieg. You on the edge with Buttigieg. You down at the bottom. So here's the thing, guys. You weren't upset when Kamala Harris called out Joe Biden, but you are extremely butthurt that Tulsi Gabbard called out Kamala Harris to the point where you don't even want her to be in this race. You think it's cool that she was robbed. I think you are backwards, and I don't know what your ethics, I don't know if you know what those are, but that should propel you to say, hey, you know what? In fact, you should have been holding your candidate to a high scrutiny, like answer that question. Answer those questions. Those questions are an opportunity for you to prove yourself. In fact, a real ethical politician who is asked a question in a lopsided way or asked a question you don't think is accurate, that's an opportunity for you to express yourself and say on the world stage what you really stand for. So you got to take it and turn it on its heels. Unless you can't do that because you really don't have a good answer. You don't have a real retort because what they're saying has too much truth in it. Too much truth. You can't even combat it. I think some of the Harris fans woke up and they realized that. And I think that that idea that Tulsi not, no party or whatever. And that little hashtag they had going about Tulsi Gabbard not making the debates, I forget the name of it. We'll put it on the screen in the video. I think that was fabricated by Twitter. I don't think there were that many people who really were tweeting about that. But if they were, you're idiots. And you're hypocrites. I think it would have been great to have anybody call out Kirsten Gillibrand before she left. Maybe that's why Kirsten Gillibrand left, because she wouldn't want somebody to bring up the stuff I brought up tonight in front of the world on her. She'd rather be able to control the narrative and do little interviews and get the questions ahead of time and continue life as a senator instead of having somebody, Tim Black, bring up all her skeletons from the NRA. About this shirt I got on. That's right. That's right. My No Joe shirt. No Joe, no Joe, no Joe. No, Joe. We can't vote for you. No, Joe. No, Joe, no, Joe, no, Joe. Your memory's out the door. No, Joe. No.